Rahim. So today we are just going to be start next topic that is about bounds. Yes, anyone have the idea what is bound? Yes, anyone? Yes, Liga. Yes, Fajar, Rania.
No, sir, I
Upper
don't
and
know.
lower bound?
Upper and lower bound. Obviously, we have two types of bounds. The one is the upper bound and second is the lower bound. Yes, what is upper bound and what is lower bound? We have two types of bounds. The one is the upper bound and second is the lower bound. The upper bound is basically a maximum value a number could have been before it was rounded off. Upper bound is a maximum value and the lower bound is your minimum value could have been before it was rounded. First of all, we have to understand it in a general way. For example, you have a rod. All right, now look at here. We have a rod, and I have to say that the length is going to be 5 meters. We are using different tools to measure the length. Means we have to use a scale, or we have to use a measuring tape, or we have to use any other thing. When we are going to measure any length or measure any mass or any quantity, any physical quantity, you are going to be measure. So there is still always an error. There is still always an error or mistake that is known as bound. For example, if this is going to be 5 meters, when we are going to be measure with different devices, so it can be a little bit more or it can be a little bit less. It can be a little bit more or it can be a little bit less. For example, if you are going to be go for the market and purchase some chips from the market, so on the chips it is going to be written as it is 50 grams plus minus 5 grams, right? If you are going to be go for market and you are going to be purchase any types of chips, and this value must be mentioned on that thing in a different way, or sometimes mostly in this way. It is 50 grams plus minus 5 grams. This means that the packet that you have purchased, in which the mass of the chips can be 55 grams or can be 45 grams, means it can be 5 grams more or it can be 5 grams less, because when you are going to be measuring it, it can be a little bit error. You got my point? There is a mistake or there is an error, a small error, because the price of the 50-gram packet is, for example, 100 rupees or $100. So when you are going to be pack it, it must be a little bit more or must be a little bit less, right? It can never be, or it is going to be very small ratio. You are going to be get exactly equal to 50 grams. It is going to be a little bit more or a little bit less. So look at here. Here you have the error of 10 grams, and this 10 gram is known as the bound. The maximum value that you can in the packet, that is your upper bound, and the minimum value that you can in the packet, that is your lower bound. Yes, everyone, it is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Yasir, Shayan, Iman, any question up to
Yes,
here?
sir.
First of all, you have to understand that what is bound. So bound is just like it's all about a small error that we are going to be taken, or meaning the mass of something or length of something. For example, if I'm going to be measure, I have to use different devices. Maybe if I have to write it as it is plus minus 2 centimeter. This means that this length can be 1 centimeter here and 1 centimeter here. So obviously you will get 2 centimeter. Or it can be less, means 1 centimeter less, 1 centimeter less from here. So 5 meters minus 2 centimeters. All right. So it is all about the small error in inequality. Okay, now the next question, how we can find the bounds. So you just have to be, obviously he is going to be give you the value, he is going to be accurately up to 5 grams like this. I have to give that it is accurately about 5 grams. So you have to be plus 5 and minus 5. You will get the value of the upper bound, and you are going to be getting the value of lower bound. But sometimes we are going to be get a case of addition and subtraction in which the two quantities are adding, or maybe the two quantities are subtracting, or dividing as well. So in this case, we are going to make only the four cases for the bounds. The very first case, that is about addition. I'm just writing the cases, and it's good for all of you if you have to note it down on the notebook. Okay, because on these basis we have to do the questions. The first one is the addition. The second one is the multiplication. In addition, for example, if examiner says that you need to be find the value of the upper bound, then obviously the in the addition you have two quantities. The one quantity is given and the second quantity is given, and you need to be find the upper bound. So you will take the upper bound of the first value and the upper bound of the second value, and you have to going to be add them. You will get the upper bound. First of all, I have to write all the formulas that we need to be, and then we have to go for questions. So these all the formulas are going to be more clear there. Don't be confused here. If you need to be find the lower bound, so you will take the lower bound of the first quantity and the lower bound of the second quantity. The same rule we have to be used for multiplication. If you want to find the upper bound of the value, so you will take the upper bound of first value, multiply by the upper bound of second value, and if you need to be find the final answer will be lower bound, so you have to take the lower bound of first value and the lower bound of second value. The next case is about, it's an addition and multiplication is going to be same, and the second third is division and subtraction case is going to be same. If for example you have two quantities and they are dividing, and examiner says that you need to be find the upper bound, so first of all you will take the upper bound of the first value plus the division, sorry, it's a dividing divided by the lower bound of second value. In the same way, you need to be find the lower bound of the final answer. You have to be take the lower bound of first value and the upper bound of second value. Yes, please note down. We are going to be do the questions, so everything is going to be clear. I know that there is a still confusion here. Everything is going to be clear. Okay. In subtraction, if you have two quantities and they are subtracting, okay, and you need to be find the upper bound of the values, so you will take the upper bound of first value minus the lower bound of second value, same as if you need to be find the lower bound of any value, you will take, and the case is subtraction, so you'll take the lower bound of first value minus upper bound of second value. Yes, all of you, please note down and let me know.